A merchant was angry because his children spent time meditating with the Buddha instead of working. He came to see the Buddha, unable to control his emotions, and spat on his face. The Buddha simply smiled, showing no reaction. That night, the merchant was haunted by that smile and couldn't sleep out of regret. The next day, he came back to ask for forgiveness. The Buddha said, "The person from yesterday is no longer here, and I from yesterday am not here either. The person standing before me today has done nothing wrong." True forgiveness is not making someone feel guilty. That is genuine compassion. A furious merchant, upset that his children spent too much time meditating with the Buddha instead of working, decided to teach him a lesson. In his rage, he was speechless and ended up spitting on the Buddha's face. Contrary to his expectation, the Buddha merely smiled and showed no reaction. The disciples also did nothing, overwhelmed by the Buddha's stillness. At home, the merchant couldn't shake off the image of that smile. He tossed and turned all night, tormented by shame and remorse. The next morning, he returned, knelt at the Buddha's feet, and asked for forgiveness. The Buddha said, "The one who spat on me yesterday is no longer here, and the one who was spat on is gone too. The person here now is new." True forgiveness does not leave a person burdened with guilt. That is authentic compassion. The Buddha looked at his astonished disciples and continued, "When someone changes from within, they are no longer the same person. Forgiveness is not an act of generosity, but an understanding that humans always have the potential to transform." He added, "If I forgive just so the other person knows they are forgiven, yet they still carry guilt, then that is not forgiveness. True forgiveness is silent. It leaves no trace of hurt or resentment. Someone who sincerely regrets deserves to be seen with new eyes." The story closes with a profound lesson. True forgiveness is not in words, but in letting go completely. No judgment, no lingering pain, so both can be free. An open heart is the beginning of true healing. After the Buddha's teaching, the entire assembly fell silent. Slowly, they began to grasp the deep meaning of forgiveness. The disciples started to see the merchant differently, not with anger or blame, but with empathy and respect for his transformation. The merchant burst into tears. They were not tears of guilt, but of liberation. He felt something he had never known before, the power of compassion and awakening. From that day on, he became a devoted disciple, not only studying the Dharma, but living with a compassionate heart. He taught his children, to be human is not just about business success, but about humility, accepting mistakes, and being willing to change. This story is proof that even a wrong action can be erased if the heart is truly awakened. Real forgiveness is giving each other the chance to start anew. From this story, the Buddha left an eternal teaching. Forgiveness is not to comfort others, but to free ourselves. When we cling to anger, we are the ones who suffer. But when we let go, our hearts become lighter and more open. The merchant was forever changed. He became living proof of the power of sincere remorse and unconditional compassion. No longer a man of rage, he became a source of inspiration, sharing his story with those who felt lost. The Buddha's disciples also learned an important lesson. Do not judge someone at their worst moment, because anyone can change. And so in silence and love, a man was reborn, not by miracle, but by understanding and true forgiveness. The story ends in profound stillness, no more words needed, because everyone present felt the sacred moment that had just occurred. From an act of hatred blossomed a flower of awakening. From a closed heart, the doors of compassion and forgiveness were opened. The Buddha did not merely forgive, he offered a path for people to transcend themselves. Forgiveness is not forgetting, but realizing that the past no longer controls the present. And when we look at one another with fresh eyes, free of old judgment, that is when true healing begins. The end of the story is the beginning for those still suffering from anger or shame, because just one moment of awakening can change a life forever, and that is the power of compassion.